My friends, ladies and gentlemen,
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is running for his fifth term and is a whisper away from becoming Israel's longest-serving prime minister, a position he has held on and off since 1996. But Netanyahu's career has long been plagued by corruption charges and scandal. In late February, the Attorney General recommended Netanyahu be indicted on charges of fraud, bribery, and breach of trust, though the Prime Minister has a chance to present his defense in a hearing first.
I intend to serve you and the country as Prime Minister for many more years, but it's up to you.
The question is, how has he managed to stay in power for so long? He's lost as many elections as he's won. He's been plagued by criminal investigations and scandals since even before he became Prime Minister. But Netanyahu has refused to resign when others might have. Many of his advisors say he has this absolute self-belief that he's the best person to lead Israel. He's also an incredible campaigner.
Netanyahu's opponents have claimed that he uses divisive and dangerous rhetoric for political gain. When former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated in 1995 by an Israeli ultranationalist, Netanyahu was accused by many of creating the atmosphere of hate and fear-mongering that led to the murder.
Bibi had been very critical of the Oslo peace accords that Rabin signed, saying they endangered security and Israel should remain in charge of the West Bank. But then when Hamas struck with suicide bombings in 1996, that really helped Netanyahu win that year's election. He'd been widely expected to lose it.
It's not the only time Netanyahu has defied expectations.
In the 2015 elections, Netanyahu was behind in the polls. Everyone thought he was going to lose, including his campaign. He went with a strategy of basically admitting that he was going to lose. He said, look, I'm going to lose, the left-wing parties are going to win. And he ended up actually pulling a lot of votes from the smaller right-wing parties and rallied his base around him.
That election year, Netanyahu also released this last-minute video.
המצביעים הערבים מגיעים בכמויות אדירות לקלפי. עמותות השמאל מביאות אותם באוטובוסים. צאו לקלפי, תביאו את החברים, את בני המשפחה, הצביעו מחל, נסגור את הפער בינינו לבין מפלגת העבודה.
He was widely criticized for the video. Still, he's using the same tactic today. Netanyahu has warned that if Benny Gantz, his main rival, wins the elections, Gantz would likely have to form a coalition with Israeli Arab parties. He's also played up his strong relationship with President Trump. And in March, Netanyahu released this ad of an unusual exchange he had with then-President Barack Obama.
Everybody knows it's not going to happen. And I think it's time to tell the Palestinians forthrightly, it's not going to happen.
Netanyahu's relationship with Obama was really fractious. The ad of Bibi lecturing Obama in the Oval Office, he's trying to show that he's strong, he wasn't bent by democratic governments in the US.
Cannot be asked to negotiate with a government.
In the past 2 years, the Trump administration has made several landmark pro-Israel moves. In 2018, President Trump moved the United States Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. In March, Trump signed a memorandum recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the disputed Golan Heights. Netanyahu has been painting those as his personal successes. The stakes are high for Netanyahu in this election, since the Attorney General recommended charges against him in 3 separate criminal cases. Winning a 5th term would put him in a stronger position to delay or even gain immunity from the charges.
I have to tell you that I brought you a case of the finest wine from the Bouillon. I understand you're not a great wine drinker, but could I give it to your staff? Yes. And I hope they don't open an investigation on that.
Mr. President,
The first case against him centers on allegations of extravagant gifts he and his wife Sarah received in exchange for political favors. The other 2 cases involve allegations that Netanyahu attempted to bribe media proprietors for positive coverage.
Netanyahu, he's had this love-hate relationship with the media since his early days. A lot of people close to him say he needs this constant affirmation from the media. In many ways, it's his Achilles heels, but his media savvy and the minute attention to how he's portrayed has also helped him in many ways.
על הכיפק.
על הכיפק, אומרים שזה צפון קוריאה.
נו, ברור שהם יגידו, הרי גם זה הסממן של צפון קוריאה, זה כשאתה פותח את ערוץ 11, 12 ו-13, כל ישראל, כולם, אתה שומע תמיד את אותו הדבר, אותו קו, את הקו של השמאל.
The polls show a tight race, but we all know polls can be wrong. He's always presented himself as a strong hand when it comes to security, but this time, the rival party contains 3 former army chiefs of staff. Israel has a parliamentary election system, which means that if Netanyahu's Likud party wins the largest share of minority votes and successfully forms a coalition, Netanyahu's position as prime minister is secured.
One recent survey showed that the majority of Israelis think he'll be prime minister, but only 38% actually want him to be. That's all he needs, though the polls are showing it's a very tight race. His biggest asset will be his fiercely loyal base that will vote for him no matter what.